Hello, my name is Neil Redmond, and I am a personal injury trial lawyer here in New York City. Today, what I'd like to speak to you about is IMEs. IME stands for Independent Medical Evaluation. Now, it has that name because it's supposed to be an independent medical evaluation that is conducted by a doctor that is hired by the defendant. Remember, you are the plaintiff and the other side is the defendant, and they are supposed to hire a doctor who is independent, and independent is supposed to mean that they have no interest in the outcome of their examination. However, there are many things in life that are not true the way they're supposed to be, and this is one of those things. That is the last thing that these doctors are, is independent. They are extremely dependent. They're dependent on their defense attorneys and insurance companies paying them a consistent salary to give out results that weigh in their favor, that are biased in favor of the defendant. Okay? Now, we are required to have our clients attend these independent medical examinations. However, they are not independent. They are totally biased, and the goal of those doctors is to try to say that you are completely fine. You're not injured. You didn't get your injury from this accident. You had a pre-existing problem. Or if you did have an original problem from this accident, is all resolved. And their goal and their objective is to tell the insurance company that your problem's resolved, and therefore they should no longer pay for your treatment. And so that's the first independent medical examination. And that is normally done early on in the case, and it's really most popular for cases involving car accidents, because the no-fault insurance company needs to get those independent medical evaluations done so they can try to cut off your no-fault coverage. By the way, if you fail to attend one of those independent medical evaluations, they use that as an excuse to cut off any kind of monetary funding that you would get for that treatment. So it's okay to miss the first one, but you definitely cannot miss the second one. And I almost encourage people to miss the first one, because the sooner you go, the sooner they cut off your treatment and your coverage. So, I mean, I don't want to say you should miss your first one, but the bottom line is you definitely have to go to your second one that is scheduled, and make sure that when you go to the exam, now this is the most important part, remember that this is not an ordinary doctor that you are seeing. This is not a doctor that is interested in your well-being, or a doctor that is interested in being honest about your condition. So you have to be very sure to have your guard up and be sure to tell them all of your pains and problems and things that are bothering you, and make sure you don't leave anything out. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is that if they try to move or manipulate your body in a way that is uncomfortable or hurts in any way, you need to tell them, stop that. That hurts me. That's number two. Number three is that you need to not tell them anything. My lawyer said that I am not supposed to tell you anything about my accident or my prior history or any other prior problems I have. This is not a verbal oral examination. This is you asking me what hurts. Okay, I'll tell you what hurts and what doesn't hurt, and I'll allow you to move my body. And if something happens where you move my body and it hurts, I will tell you that, but I'm not here to do a deposition where you're supposed to ask me questions about how my accident happened and anything of that nature. That is the focus of a deposition, where the lawyer for the other side will ask questions, and my lawyer is present to listen to those questions and object if those questions are inappropriate. I am not going, and I'm not here today with my lawyer, so any questions other than moving my body in a way that, will allow you to evaluate my range of motion in my injured body parts, that's acceptable. But that's it. Nothing further about how my accident happened. That's inappropriate for an independent medical exam. And if any doctor tries to ask you those questions or asks you to fill out any paperwork that has to do with those questions, you have my permission, my authority, and my orders not to fill those documents out. Okay, that is very important. Now, at the end of the case, you're also going to be undergoing a second, quote, independent medical examination. And generally speaking, like we were talking about earlier, I don't really call these independent. I call them defendant medical examinations, because that's what they are. They're medical examinations that are paid for by a defendant doctor, right? And so they are defendant medical examinations. So don't be confused by that. Now, again, when you've done your deposition, after that point, they're entitled to another medical examination from one of their doctors. And it's important that, again, you go to that exam. And again, remember, this person is not your friend. They're not your friendly neighborhood doctor that's interested in helping you. They are out to find dirt and to figure out what's wrong with you and to make out a claim that nothing's wrong with you. So I don't like these doctors. I don't trust these doctors. I don't believe that anything they do is legitimate. They will, after they examine you and see that you cannot bend fully at the waist, they'll complete a report that said you had a full range of motion. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're paid by the defense attorneys to complete a report, to come testify in court, and we catch them. We catch them doing all kinds of devious and sneaky things. So please do not think that they have your interest at heart. Do not put your guard down. Make sure you tell them about all your pains and problems, the things that are more difficult for you to do compared to before, and don't hold back. This is not a time where you should try to be a tough person or a hero. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to spell out all of your pains and problems and make good notes about how long that exam took. Like I said, if they try to ask you any questions about how the accident happened, do not answer. My attorney has told me not to answer questions, not to fill out any documents with respect to these issues. And if they have any questions about it, you tell them to call me on my cell phone, 646-285-7115. All right? And of course, if you have any questions, always call me and ask me. And if anyone's watching this video that has an attorney that they're not happy with, feel free to call me. My name is Neil Redmond. You can reach me at 844-NEIL-RED, and we'll prepare you for every phase of your lawsuit. This is one phase. It's called the independent medical examination. There are other phases of the lawsuit called the deposition. There are other parts of the lawsuit called hearings. There's something called an examination under oath. We prepare you for all of these different things that happen during the process, and we're there for you to support you. And I have a staff of 50 people that will answer all of your questions. No matter what questions you have, you call up our number and you're going to get somebody on the phone that's going to give you an answer to your question. If you can't get a hold